Imagine being a little kitten, full of life and excitement, only to find yourself lost, hungry, and alone. But it's not the streets that are scary. It's the loneliness that cuts deepest. This is the story of a little kitten named Milo. He wasn't like other kittens, curious, playful, and always running around with his friends. One day, as the sun set behind the clouds, Milo wandered too far from the safety of his home and got lost. His friends called out, but Milo couldn't hear them. And soon, the world grew darker, colder, and emptier. Milo, who had always been surrounded by warmth, now found himself on the cold streets with no one to turn to. He wandered, paws sore, hunger gnawing at his tiny stomach. Every corner he turned seemed the same. There were no familiar faces, no comforting voices, just the harsh noises of a world he didn't understand. As the hours passed, Milo's stomach growled, louder and louder. He searched for food, but all he could find were scraps that weren't enough. There were alley cats, but they ignored him. Everyone was too busy or too tired. The streetlights flickered, casting eerie shadows that only made Milo's heart race faster. Milo's paws ached. His fur had grown matted and his eyes were clouded with exhaustion. He had no idea where to go or how to find his way back home. Every time he looked around, it felt like the world was growing bigger, and he was growing smaller. He spent his days searching for food, rotten leftovers behind dumpsters, bits of bread from kind strangers, but nothing ever filled him up. Each day, his hunger grew stronger, but so did his resolve. He couldn't give up. His mother had always told him that no matter how hard life got, he had to keep moving forward. And so, despite the emptiness in his belly, he kept going. One rainy evening, Milo huddled in a doorway to shelter from the storm. He was soaked to the bone, shivering uncontrollably. His eyes were heavy with sleep, but sleep never brought rest. He dreamt of the warmth of his bed, the smell of his mother's cooking. He missed home. He missed his friends. But most of all, he missed the feeling of being loved. Just as Milo thought he couldn't go on any longer, a faint sound reached his ears. A voice, soft but clear. It was his friend Luna calling his name from across the street. "Milo, Milo, where are you?" Milo's heart jumped. Was it really her? He barely had the strength to stand, but the sound of his friend's voice sparked something deep inside him. He tried to call out, but his voice was weak and cracked. Luna, with her sleek gray fur, ran towards him, her eyes filled with concern. She wrapped herself around him, purring softly, and nuzzled his face. "Milo, I've been looking everywhere for you," she whispered, her voice soothing. "Don't worry, you're not alone anymore. I'm here now." Milo, overcome with emotion, couldn't hold back the tears. He'd been so close to giving up, to accepting that this was his life now. But Luna found him, and for the first time in days, he felt something. Hope. With Luna by his side, Milo didn't feel so small anymore. They found their way back to the safety of their friends who had been looking for him. And although Milo wasn't fully healed, he was no longer hungry in spirit. Sometimes it's not the food that fills you up. It's the love that carries you through. If you've ever felt lost or alone, remember that help can come when you least expect it. Don't give up. And if you want to hear more stories like Milo's, don't forget to subscribe. You never know who might need you next.